Back Stallings, incomplete pass, and the hit came from Ryan Agnetuck charging up the middle.
Look at Ryan getting in here again. They've been sending him a lot the second half, and what they decided is that we're not going to let Stallings just sit back there and pick us apart. We're going to put a lot of pressure on him and make him make those throws.
Fourth down, it'd be a 51-yard field goal attempt. I'll bet Joe Harlow's hit a 51-yarder in practice, but he's not going to try a field goal here with his team leading by 21. And they'll go for it instead. From the 34-yard line. Stallings will give it off, inside handoff to Quentin Trotter, and he's right at the first down marker. I think he got the first down.
Great call by the coach. Great call. If you watch it again, Ryan's right here. He's going to come in, and they're going to hand it and go right by him where he vacated. That's where the running back went. They saw the blitz coming, and they had a great call on.
Got the first down by a yard. Very creative offenses on both sides, but Macomb, Dakota has kept this Rams defense guessing throughout the day.
It almost looks like they're methodically just trying to run time out, like they're not really trying to get in the end zone right now. They just want to keep this clock running.
They'd be very happy to take another couple minutes off this clock. This drive already approaching 6 minutes. Gay with the carry, Jimmy Mordyke with the tackle. Yeah, run, pass right now, and you've got a 21-point lead late in the third.
They have not thrown the ball downfield. The longest pass has been about 8 to 10 yards. They're content by just keeping the ball and letting the clock run.
Second down. Clock is running. 21-point lead. Deep pass left side and caught for a big gain by Gary Schuholtz. If he'd kept his feet, he would have taken it in.
Until that play.
25-yard completion.
This play calling is magnificent because what they've been doing up until now is running short passes, and what tends to happen is the defensive backs start to creeping up. They start looking in the backfield, and now you got a receiver just snuck behind him for a big play, and if he had been able to keep his feet, it would have been a touchdown.
James Stallings dropped it in beautifully, and now Macomb, Dakota threatening to take a 4-touchdown lead on the two-time defending state champions. The give is to Gay, trying for his 4th touchdown of the day, but he's smothered in the backfield. Jeremy Jones, a strong safety, comes up to make the hit for a loss of 1.
And again, just watch how methodically the Cougars are just getting off the ball. They're taking their time getting back to the huddle.
Gay with 15 touchdowns on the ground this year. He's added 3 more today, 2 rushing and with that big long pass reception. Trying to pick up a 4th touchdown, see if he gets it. He does, going up the middle for a touchdown. 4 touchdowns for the senior Greg Gay.
It really makes it difficult now for the Rockford Rams to try to come back. If they do come back, we will have a heck of exciting 4th quarter. You can see, given to the main man, Gay. He goes airborne. Without a doubt, he's in the end zone.
Look at the push by the offensive line, Stan. Everybody's a yard into the end zone.
4 touchdowns today. That's a tremendous effort by that young man.
Ties the all-time finals record with that 4th touchdown. The extra point is up, and it is good by Joe Harlow. An incredible performance by a team making its first ever appearance in the finals. Macomb, Dakota has the 4-touchdown lead as we near the end of the third quarter. (38-10), Macomb, Dakota is stunning the defending state champion Rockford Rams. Look at this drive. You will talk about everything you want to do. Score a touchdown at the end, but you chewed 7 minutes and 17 seconds with a 14-play drive.
You can't do it much better than that to eat up the clock. And it looks like they methodically wanted to try to shorten this game. They did a great job, and to get a score at the end of that drive, it's just you can't script it any better than that, Dan.
Rockford Rams now just trying to make the score respectable. They're going to have a tough time, though. Macomb, Dakota has been shutting teams down, and they've shut down a pretty darn good Rockford Rams offense throughout the day.
For them to even remotely get back in the game, they're going to have some big plays, like a kickoff return or a long play or something. Looks like the kickoff return won't happen.
For the 5th time today, Joe Harla kicks the ball into the end zone for a touchback. The one time it was returned, the ball was dropped and the drive started inside the 10. And once the ball is in the end zone, there is no option. You can't bring it out if you're a player wanting to make a big play. Once it's in, it is a touchback. It is a touchback once it goes in the end zone. So if you ever look at the scoreboard the next day and find out somebody had a 102-yard kickoff return, you know that's not quite accurate. Fusey throwing to the left side for one of his favorite targets, Zach Breen. But Breen is knocked down after the catch. They have really done a tremendous job against a very dangerous offensive threat. John Schultz, who was the leader of that secondary, made the hit and dropped Breen after a relatively short gain. They need a big play right now. They need a big play badly, and Schultz made a tremendous open field tackle. And that's what they're going to need, because they're going to have to take some chances now if they have an even remote chance, of trying to get back into this game. 2nd and short, movement on the line. That will be a penalty. Offsides as they jump into the neutral zone. Josh George in the guilty party that time. A couple of guys moving on that front line.
Got a dead ball foul, encroachment on a defense. 5 yards, gotta make it first down.
Got that defensive line for the Cougars getting a little bit anxious, so they know they're going to pass. They're trying to get a quick start to get back in the backfield to get to Fusey.
We've seen Macomb, Dakota, and the ability to bring a lot of pressure, and right now the Rams are in a situation where they need to throw on almost every down. Long pass is going to be picked off. They tried to find Callan Sherd, and instead it's another interception, this time by Kyle DeMaster.
Got the wide receiver. They run him on the out and up, just a lazy wheel route. And DeMaster just went up and made a play on it. Timed his jump perfectly to go up for the interception.
Kyle DeMaster, a junior safety, has had quite a postseason. Interception here. 3 turnovers today by Rockford.
He's coming back to Stallings.
Gay is throwing to Stallings, and the ball is knocked down, but almost knocked back into the hands of the quarterback, James Stallings. Not a bad throw by Gay. He overthrew it, but he showed a pretty good arm there. Callan Sherd on the defense that time for the Rockford Rams.
A few of us know that Stallings was going out, and Sherd is one of them. He didn't get quite fooled. A little bit better pass. He may have had a shot of making that completion. But I find it to be a very interesting call at this juncture in the game, Dan, when you're up by, you know, the amount of points that you are. You're going to run the quarterback down the sideline to
maybe he promised James Stallings one shot before his career ended at catching a touchdown pass.
They for sure tried on that one.
They give a little more conventional with a big lead straight up the middle, and there's not a whole lot there. Gay with the carry for a gain of 4. Macomb, Dakota took a 21-point lead to halftime. They've added 7 more in the 3rd quarter. 12 minutes of football left in the Division I finals. And the upstart Macomb, Dakota Cougars are the ones in command on the 2-time defending state champions. Here's a holiday gift for football fans throughout the state. It's a new DVD from FSN Detroit titled Rivalry Rewind, a 90-minute video providing an all-access look at this year's Michigan State game, plus a step back in time to examine the origins of this great in-state rivalry. Buy the Rivalry Rewind DVD at Meijer and other fine retailers throughout our viewing region. Macomb, Dakota, 12 minutes away from a first ever state champion. They have never been to the state finals before. A championship now 12 minutes away and a 28-point lead. Flags fly before the play.
Yeah, offense. Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Well, makes third down just a little bit harder, but this Macomb, Dakota offense has been awfully tough to stop all day. Mike Giannone very happy with his quarterback, James Stallings. And you get the feeling, Stan, we'll be seeing him in that Wisconsin uniform, maybe not as a freshman, but certainly somebody to keep an eye on in Big Ten play in the years ahead.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think he's a major Division I prospect, and they've done a pretty good job at Wisconsin in developing quarterbacks, and they definitely have a prospect here to develop.
Now a little quick flip on the left side to the fullback, Quentin Trotter, and he'll gain a few, but not enough on 3rd and long. He'll come up 6 yards short, and Macomb, Dakota will kick the ball away. Look at the time of possession. We talked about the 7-minute drive. It was all Macomb, Dakota in the 3rd quarter. They had the ball for all but, well, not even 2 minutes for the Rockford Rams.
And if you go back to the first half, Dan, it was not quite that lopsided, but Rockford had twice as many time of possession they did for Macomb, Dakota, and Macomb still was blowing them out. So Macomb does whatever they want to do when they have the ball.
Now Stallings, a quarterback, good punt, high spiraling kick, and a fair catch called for by Callan Sherd back at his 16-yard line. And the Rockford Rams will take over there, trying to get on the board. 3 turnovers today, and that is very unusual for a Rockford Rams team. Just 1 turnover the last 2 times they played in this championship game. Both wins for head coach Ralph Munger.
And young high school players are pretty emotional sometimes. So a lot of times, you can look at their posture on the field and kind of tell what kind of mood they're in. And they're trying to keep upbeat. They're trying to get back in this game, but they have a long uphill battle. And a little bit of their body language says that.
A little delay because the chains were tangled up a little bit on their way to the 17-yard line. They've got them straightened out right now, and the Rams will take over 1st and 10. Tom Fusey has shown a pretty good arm. The passing game at times has looked sharp, but he's been burned by a couple of interceptions that have proved to be very big. Zach Green with the carry and a few yards on 1st down, but they need a big play. They need to find a way, it seems, Stan, to free Zach Green up a little bit. Early in the game, we saw him run right past the defenders for a big pass play, but that's really the last big play that he's had. Yeah,
I don't know that they put him in the pass pattern downfield as much as they did in the first half. That's maybe something they want to go back to. Maybe they're trying to save it. If you look at how many times I thought that when you snap the ball directly to the running back and quarterback there, as Macomb did with Gay, but you do that once or twice a game. They've run that play about 5 or 6 times.
Well, they get the ball to Green in the open field. What a tackle that time by Kevin Kimball, the linebacker. Make him an open field tackle and bring him down when it looked like it might be a big game.
Kimball's a heck of a player there. He had an interception earlier today where he baited the quarterback and made sure that he got in the open field and tackled Green right there. So
look at Macomb's linebackers. Their coach says they're undersized, but he just loves these guys. The tallest one is Kimball at 5'9". Zach Buszczyk matches him at 5'9". Bobby Hush is only 5'6", but they all play a lot bigger than that, and they've been a big part of this defense for Macomb, Dakota. This time Fusey running the ball, brought down by Jeff Dowdell. Let's head down to the sidelines. Our Shireen Saski.
Well, Dan, Kevin Kimball is one of the really interesting Cougar stories this season. Coach Giannone told me he's really enjoyed watching him develop. He didn't start as a freshman, not even as a sophomore on JV, and during his junior season, he earned Special Teams Player of the Year honors. This season, Coach calls him one of his best players. Guys?
Well, there's an old saying, Dan, you don't have to be big, you just have to be special.
Brogan Bibler will punt the ball away. Tuck and Schultz are back, and Tuck will make the fair catch. in Rockford Rams territory after a short punt of just 27 yards. It's been all Macomb, Dakota since the first quarter. They've got a 28-point lead with 9 minutes to go in the Division I final. Macomb, Dakota is 9 minutes away from its first ever state championship, a 38-10 lead over the Rockford Rams. Well, if you're coming down for one of the final 2 games of the state finals later today or any upcoming event in downtown Detroit, be sure to stop by the Hockeytown Cafe. Drop off some non-perishable food items because all of the donations through December 19th go to the Gleaners Community Food Bank to benefit the hungry here in southeastern Michigan. Well, some disappointed Rockford Rams fans. They came in thinking perhaps a 3rd straight state title today, and they have been quieted and I think stunned by what Macomb, Dakota has done to their team this afternoon. Handoff inside to Quentin Trotter doesn't gain much, but all Macomb cares about right now is running a little bit of clock. Inch a little bit closer to that state championship.
Stallin's coming back to the huddle. Typically what a quarterback does after every play, particularly a running play, heads over to the sideline and talks to the coach for a second. He'll give him a play or tell him something particular that he may want.
Second and long, quick toss left side. That's Gay, and he'll gain about 5. Crossing the 45-yard line, a 4-touchdown day, tying his state finals record for the senior Greg Gay. He's shown us a little bit of everything, but I love that pass reception, and as you showed us on that replay, the adjustment and the communication just by looking at his quarterback and his ability for Gay to sense that he needed to turn upfield, and as soon as he turned, that ball was there.
You look at 2 kids that have played a lot of football together, that be on that kind of communication level, and a coaching staff that have trust in them to allow them to ad-lib that way to make a play.
Now on 3rd down, Stallings throws right, and the ball hit the ground. Tight end Justin Sylvester tried to make the grab, but it's incomplete. We look at the road in the run to the finals. A 3-0 game. Well, that was miserable weather conditions. Remember the awful weather conditions there a couple of weekends, and they just scratched out that 3-0 win. And then look at the wins over Chippewa Valley, which is where Mike Giannone coached before he went to Macomb, Dakota. And then 35-15 over a pretty darn good Clarkston team, and the shutout of Cousino in the semifinals. Defense has really been the story, and we have seen everything today. The offense has been impressive, and the defense has been incredible. First team defense has only given up 7 points in 7 games. Coming into this one, they've given up 10 here today. The punt by the quarterback Stallings goes out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, right at the 18-yard line. We've still got 2 games left. We'll have 6 titles decided by the end of this game, but a couple of good matchups later on. Madison Heights-Madison against Menominee in the Division 5 finals. Menominee has not allowed a point in the playoffs so far, and Farmington Hills Harrison, you saw earlier, the only team to ever win 5 straight state titles, will take on a very good East Grand Rapids team. That should be a heck of a game to wrap up the weekend of football. Now Fusey throwing as he's been forced to do ever since the second quarter. Hits his man, Michael Mudgett, out of the backfield for a pretty good gain on 1st down. They'll get it all the way up to the 35, a gain of 18.
They're going to go no huddle right now. Try to make a move. I'm not so sure it's too little, too late. That was a great pitch and catch right there to see if they can continue on this drive.
Fusey throwing short. I think it's impressive, Stan. You look at 4 and 5 receivers on several downs since they've really gone to an all-passing offense, and Macomb seems to be on every one of these guys.
Yes, they are. And what happens is you have a team who's a predominantly running team, that Rockford is. When they're forced to pass, they're a little bit out of their element, so they're not as efficient doing this type of offense as they would running the football.
Now Green gets a good block, and he's down the sidelines and right out to the midfield stripe. Callan Sherd, his senior co-captain, threw a big block that freed him for a 15-yard gain.
Oh, he threw a heck of a block right here. Watch him right here. Watch that block right here. He's going to come back That's a pretty good block right there.
Even better the second time
Sometime you
around.
want to keep head on the swivel to find out where the ball carrier is going to be.
That was John Schultz on the receiving end, and sure did a great job of making sure he stayed inside his pads so he wasn't a block in the back. Yeah, McIntyre with a catch, a short gain on the right side. Only 3 yards on first down. Rockford at the point with 6 minutes to go where they're just trying to make the final score respectable. They pretty much know at this point that their consecutive title run will end at 2. It doesn't take away anything from what they have done and from what Ralph Munger has done with that Rockford program. Every year, year in and year out, this is a team that is in the playoff chase and is a threat to go to the state finals. Handoff inside, and there's very little room there. The ball just fumbled. A very short gain and actually a loss right there.
Munger's still coaching. You know his team is down by 28 points. There's just over 6 minutes to go in the game. Still trying to coach his team until the last second.
Fusey, quick toss right side. Flag flies, but Mudgett doesn't have much running room, and we'll see what the flag is. Greg Gay on defense closed in quickly to make sure it was a short gain. Officials still sorting this one out.
Personal foul, defense, 15-yard penalty. Gonna be first down.
Mike Giannone doesn't like the call.
I'd like to find out what that might be, but in any event, it benefits the Rockford Rams to get a first down and see if they can continue this drive.
So 15-yard step off takes the ball inside the 35-yard line for the Rams. They're trying to hurry things up and trying to put some points on the board, down by 28 in the Division I state final. Fusey's been forced to throw a lot more than he planned to today, and he's in trouble right now, looking downfield, but he's going to be flattened instead. Josh Georgian with a big hit to drive him out of bounds.
Tremendous hit by Georgian. You hate to see a quarterback run that much around in the pocket, can't find anybody open, and then end up taking a hit like this. I would much rather see my quarterback run out of bounds than take a shot like this. I mean, I know the game is just about out of reach, but that's almost not fair for a quarterback to get hit like that. Can't, get the ball out of his hands.
Talk about exploding into someone who has the ball. Georgian, you closed that last 2 yards in a hurry, didn't he?
Yeah, I saw him chasing Fusey. I didn't think he had that much momentum behind him. Wow. 5 sacks
for the Cougars today, and I think that's a very good example and very reflective of the style of play we've seen and the trouble that the Rams have had on offense. Now Fusey pulls the ball back down. Look out, he got hit again. The ball's tipped in the air and controlled by Dakota. What a play by Charles Martin. He bobbled the ball in the air and somehow came down with it for the recovery after another big hit on the quarterback, Tom Fusey.
And we talked about it earlier. When you get behind, you got to pass. And when the defensive line knows you're going to pass, they just pin their ears back and come at the quarterback. And Fusey's taking, you can see him there, he's taking a lot of hits right here. Watch him after he gets hit. He's just going to lay there, and he's not really sure where he is. He's on the ground, and he's just trying to figure out what's going on.
Officially an interception because the ball was going forward. Jeff Dowdell is the one who delivered the hit. And man, poor Tom Fusey has not had a day like this, I venture to guess, all season long for the Rams. Gay makes one man miss. Now he's following his block, and he'll turn it outside. But a short gain on first down. He keeps the ball inside.
Fusey gave a gallant effort today. Unfortunately, when your team falls behind and you're forced to be one-dimensional, it doesn't help your offense at all.
We saw that with 2 different teams today. We saw it earlier in the day in the Division VII finals. Grass Lake forced to pass in almost every down, and it ended up costing them. And here today, a team that likes to mix the run and the pass, but likes to run more. The Rockford Rams forced to pass almost exclusively since the second quarter, and it just hasn't been to their liking. Now the fullback Trotter has some running room and very smart. He keeps the ball in bounds to make sure that clock runs down. We're under 4 minutes now. Greg Gay that time on the reception. And it's just enough for a first down.
Gay's moving rather slowly. I don't think he's trying to run the clock out. I think he's just really exhausted. He's been a very busy man today.
Now Quentin Trotter breaks one tackle, but the Rams converge and smother him. Jimmy Mordyke. Macomb County Schools until this game winless in 5 Division I state title games. Class AA games. They also were 0-1, and only a couple of teams from Macomb County have ever won a state title. You have to go back 2001. Chippewa Valley won in Division II. And Warren Woods way back in 1978 won in Class B.
78.
Now running right side again, it's the fullback Quentin Trotter, and the head coach of Macomb, Dakota, Mike Giannone, came over from Chippewa Valley, and really this is a splinter school as the population grows in Macomb County, and he didn't get the job right away, but after 2 years as JV coach, he took over varsity. And Stan, I've got to believe, even though it's a big school and you've got a lot of kids, to build a program from scratch is not the easiest thing to do.
It's not easy at all. That's why I take my hat off to Coach Giannone and his coaching staff, because you had to have everything fall in place for you to do that. And I'm looking at the way they're playing today. I don't think this is an anomaly. I think this team is here to stay, to be making a playoff run almost year in and year out. I think this is a team to be reckoned with for some time now, particularly in the near future.
He's going to keep it. James Stallings faked the handoff and basically just ran toward the middle of the field. A little more clock will run. Mike Giannone talking about some of the things they tried to do right from the start. And one of the things he said we really tried to do was make every Friday night an event. He says it sounds a little corny, but he said we wanted to have tailgaters. We wanted people to come out to our games, and they get big crowds for all of their Friday night games. And now Mike Giannone is taking all of his regulars out. You see the big greetings on the sidelines, especially for Greg Gay, who's had the 4-touchdown day. And Mike Giannone, the head coach of Macomb, Dakota, will now get all of at least as many of his guys off the bench into this game as possible.
I don't want to sound corny, but I think Coach Giannone gets it. That's the way you build an atmosphere around your program. You get everybody involved. You get the kids understanding this is a big deal to everybody around you. We expect your best all the time. We expect you to perform. We expect you to do your work in the classroom. We expect you to do your work in practice. That's how you build a winning championship team.
Timeout on the field. Mike Giannone making sure that he's got everybody in there, but he's getting his reserves in with the big lead, 38-10 over the Rockford Rams. Macomb, Dakota with a 38-10 lead and just 1 minute and 43 seconds away from their first ever state championship, just their 11th year of their program, 11 years since the school opened in 1996. New quarterback is Mitch Lovett, one of the candidates to take over after the big graduation loss of James Stallings after this game. And he's going to keep the ball, keep it on the ground on the left side on 4th down, a short gain. And all the reserves who just came in will head out, and the ball goes over to the Rockford Rams. Since the Division I state championship started, the new format started in '99. You look at Detroit Catholic Center with those 3 straight state championships, Walled Lake Western, Grand Ledge, and then the back-to-back championships for Rockford the last 2 years. And anytime you win 2 consecutive championships, 3 is certainly an incredible accomplishment, but 2 for Rockford the last 2 years, that's been a heck of an accomplishment as well. Now Rockford, they're going to start getting some of their reserves in as well. Alex Carty with the carry that time, and now Mike Giannone will take all of his regular defensive starters out of the game to wild applause on the far sidelines from those Macomb, Dakota fans. Robert Banaszak is now in at quarterback for the Rams. And some good running room on the left side for the tailback into the game, Corey Wolford. Remember Shireen Saskey saying that head is going to be shaved after this game. The freshman coach had told his team, if you will go undefeated this year, I'll shave my head. And then he told him again today, if you win this game, I'll shave my head. And they're well on their way to doing that as we count down the final seconds. I bet they won't wait long to make sure that he does good on his bet. Big break inside and a big run. Corey Wolford again, and he almost took it for 6 for the Rockford Rams. It's got to be a thrill for him getting into this game late.
We could be looking at some of the kids who may be playing in the state finals next year. You know, the coaches are still trying to coach some of their young players because there's always next year, and you got to make sure that the team that's coming back, you got to understand, you may not have been a frontline player this year, but you got to know we're counting on you next year, and a lot's going to be expected of you.
28-yard gain that time. Now a toss on the right side, and this might be down to the 1-yard line in the final seconds. Chris Duke stopped at the 1 with 5 seconds to go. Rams can call a timeout. The first down stops the clock. Will they call a timeout?
This is interesting.
Or do you? Well, they will. Thought he might just.
I'm wondering if Giannone going to put his first team defense back in.
A big smile on his face.
If I'm him, I just might.
And I think Mike Giannone probably would have done the same thing if he was in the opposite situation. And that's probably the reason for the smile on his face. Yes, he'd like the clock to run out, but you can understand Ralph Munger wanting his second team to score a touchdown late. This should be the last play. Oh, great emotion on that Dakota sideline. The give and the touchdown. Alex Carty takes it in for the touchdown with 1 second left on the clock. And now they take the final second off. The game is officially over, and Macomb, Dakota pours onto the field. Your state champions for the first time in the school's 11-year history. Macomb, Dakota, the Cougars, finished 13-1 with an incredible 38-16 win.
This is going to be one tremendous picture that's going to hang in the hallways of Macomb, Dakota High School, the very first state championship team. That's got to be one that will go down in history. And again, they won it, and the school has only been open for 9 years. What a tremendous effort by the whole administration, the staff, the players, the community, everybody involved. They need to really take their hats off to and congratulate one another for doing an excellent job. Rockford, again, have nothing to be ashamed of. Again, they've been here the past few years, a solid program. One of the big dogs in the middle of the state. They just fell short a little bit today. But take our hats off to both these coaching staff, Coach Munger, Coach Giannone. These are two great teams. This is what Division I football is all about.
Well, there's a new name in the Division I. As people look toward the future, it's Macomb, Dakota with their first title. They set the tone early. They were impressive all day long. 38-16 is the final. Presentation ceremony about to begin. Macomb, Dakota has just won its first ever state championship by defeating the two-time champion Rockford Rams, and they did it very convincingly here this afternoon. It was all Macomb, Dakota, offensively, defensively, big plays, and they stuffed the Rams. Our next game is coming up at 4:30 with a Division V final featuring Menominee taking on Madison Heights Madison. Now for Stan Edwards and Shireen Saskey, this is Dan Dickerson saying so long from Ford Field for the final score of the Division I title game, Macomb, Dakota 38, Rockford 16. You've been watching high school football on FSN Detroit. Goodbye for now from Ford Field.